YouTube, Scott from SE Landscaping up in the wet northeast of England on the last working day before Christmas. Not the last working day of the year, unfortunately, because I am in between Christmas and New Year. But today is the 23rd of December and it is absolutely bouncing down. I think the country is covered in rain today. Good news is it is 1:30 and I've managed to avoid the rain for the bulk of the day. So I've been on a little job today, which is this one here. So this is a task today. All this to put down with the grill up. There won't be any filming today because this is an undesirable place where I wouldn't dare leave the camera. Everything will be locked in the van. Finished job, all cut down, trimmed, 3 bags of rubbish, a bag of scrap, box of scrap. All these lumps are going to get levelled with an excavator and seeded. Big piles. Brambles all cut down. Back up the other side. All tidy. Now that's the before and after of a bit of land that in the far corner there where the brambles were, you can see it's in places it's about 1 metre high with rubbish. It's been a fly tipping hotspot for many years and the council who own the land have never done nothing with it, but they finally decided that we're going to cut all the brambles down, cut all the grass down, come back after Christmas with an excavator and some skips. And once the area is level, chuck a bit of seed on, nothing flash, chuck a bit of seed on next sort of March, April, and then we'll maintain this area with the hope that if it's maintained it'll stop the fly tippers, which I think it will. And it's not just fly tippers, it's people who live in the houses adjacent that decide to throw grass over the back fence for 10 years and before you know it you've got a big pile. So I think when I go at it with the excavator, yes, there'll be a lot of rubbish to go in skips, but there'll also be a lot of soil stroke compost that's broken down over the years that'll just level. So that's the plan. Phase 1 done there, as you saw on the photos. Wasn't a bad job with the grill, bit of litter picking, bit of strimming along the fence lines, and then the brambles somewhere about 1 inch thick, so I just cut them up short, small with the hedge cutter, and going back next year I'll scrape the top off and, like I say, try and find the soil. So just want to talk today really about the year. It's been a good year. Followers, had a lot more followers this year and getting a lot more views on the channel, so people are enjoying it. I'm getting some good feedback. Also had some good feedback at Saltex when people tap you on the shoulder and recognise you from the channel, and a few thank yous at Saltex from people who have helped, which is good. And it's been all around, it's been a good year. Turnover's been up, and as well as turnover up, it's been a record year for turnover and profit. I've had the best best year I've ever had. But based on that, I've had 5 years of that. 5 years in a row of being turnover up, profit up. So it's been a constant growth thing. Once the business got established, it's grown every year. Like I say, next year that won't be the case. Profit will still be good, but turnover will be down slightly, and that's due to doing a little bit less work, as anybody who's watched previous videos will know. But the reason for that, like I say, is the issues I've had as people are aware with staff and things. Just to give you an idea, although profits have been good this year, my maintenance and repair bill has been at an all-time high. Now, a lot of the stuff that has had to be fixed and things like that are unnecessary. So yes, if you get a puncher on a machine, it's a necessary fix, but I've gone through this year on 4 or 5 machines about £700 worth of blades, and some of these blades, where they sort of wear at the end because people have been sort of cutting into molehills and stones instead of leveling things out. These blades, they've worn at the edges, so they haven't been able to be sharpened, because then there'll be a gap in between your cutting widths. So it's been a bit of a costly thing there, but like I say, on the plus side, it's the way I've done things elsewhere, I've managed to cut costs elsewhere, which has been good. So I've really been looking at things this year, sort of insurances and other outgoings and costs, and obviously cutting down on the fuel. Yes, I had to spend a lot on the battery stuff, but it's starting to pay dividends now, and I'm actually seeing savings. So it's that's good in one sense, that once you hit winter, yes, you've still got vans to fuel up, and you've got the odd day where blowers need where you need the big blowers, but the majority of it now is battery stuff for the winter. So if I can roll that out next year on the strimmers and possibly the mowers in a few years, that will also cut down on costs and fuel. So that's been a plus, cutting down on certain things. And going forward next year, I've already worked out, I've already got my orders. 90% of my orders have already been confirmed for 2022, 2023. I know what my outgoings are. I've got a little bit of a decision to make on staff. Do I take another body on, or do I just plough on as we are with subcontractors and possibly get another subcontractor? That could be the way forward that I'm looking at the moment, because it's worked well, and it's working well at the moment through the winter. So it's actually costing less to have a subcontractor do some work than employed paid people, believe it or not. So going forward, that's something I need to look at over the winter, but I haven't got to worry about workload. And to be honest, with some of the orders I've got, some of the contracts I'm still in which are long term, for instance the students and then some of the parish councils, I've actually got confirmed orders till where are we at, 2021. I've got confirmed orders till 2026. Now that's in a landscaping company. All of you guys will be able to resonate to this. To having 5 years worth of workload and security ahead of you is massive. I know a lot of you guys work sort of season to season, and sometimes if you're just doing private work and things, you work month to month and sometimes week to week. I've got 5 years worth of work there, and 5 years not to have to worry about where the next penny's coming from. So that is a real positive, and it also means that although I don't have huge plans to invest, because I've just invested in those mowers recently, and I don't have huge plans this year to invest in much else, it means that if I do see something that'll benefit the business, it means that the capital's there. Otherwise, obviously the tax, the more you make, the tax man gets his lump. So that's what we're looking at going forward. We're gonna try to benefit the business all the time. So yes, I'll be visiting Saltex again, and I'll be visiting BTME, and if there's things there that'll make my life easier. So for instance, everybody knows I've got what's known as a white elephant of an excavator. That I think anybody who follows me on social media knows that I've got an excavator that up until a month ago was 12 months old, and it had done 11 hours. But that machine's been out the last few weeks, it's been out a couple of times, and things like that are just saving my back and saving me doing manual work, because the jobs it was doing, one would have been a levelling job, two was digging a grave when my grave digging man wasn't available. That would have been done by hand. So it's saving money that way, and it's beneficial just to have it. And then other things like I say with the chipper is manageable, as you've seen on some of the previous videos. It's manageable for me to actually push around on my own. So having things like that save going to the tip, and also saves moving stuff. If you're on a wet site, a bit of wet grass, and you can get the chipper near, you're not carrying all that stuff to the van. So that's another benefit. Yes, it's a big chunk of cash to spend. So, but it is a benefit, and I feel the benefit, and I see the savings that it makes, and I see the not having to travel the vans for 20 meters and back and 20 meters and back. So that's the benefit of having this equipment. So anything I do see which is going to be of benefit to the business, I will look at, and I will weigh up the pros and cons, and if it's going to be a benefit, then it's something that I'll invest in, and the capital will be there. Failing that, vehicles are all up to date at the moment. They're all relatively new. The oldest thing I've got is a Renault Traffic, and if I press this button, it is a 2019 model, but it wasn't, it was a late 2019 model. It tells me that it's done 10,000 miles. So this vehicle will either be sold, and it will be sold and still be worth a decent amount of money in a year or two, or it's something, if I'm only doing that amount of mileage with all our work being local, which I'll come on to in a minute, then it is something that I will hang on to and sort of keep for 4 or 5 years. So coming on to local, just from a business point of view, I think I've mentioned on previous videos, back in the day I would go anywhere and do anything. I used to go to York, which is about an hour and 20 minutes from me. I used to go to Cramlington, which is in Northumberland, which is an hour and 20 minutes from me, the way traffic is. And I would go anywhere, and the beauty of it is now I've sort of built from the unit, so I've built work from the unit and closer to the unit. So what it means is I've been able to get rid of those farther away jobs. So basically a lot of my sites, I would say 90% of my sites I can get to in 20 minutes on a morning. And the way traffic's going, traffic is chaos no matter where you go, no matter which part of the country you're in. I don't think anybody experiences quiet areas, and that goes for the other countries as well, Scotland and sort of Wales, etc. So by being able to rein that in, one, it cuts down on the amount of fuel. Two, it cuts down on the time people are sat in vehicles not earning money. And three, your day is more profitable, because you're getting the site in 20 minutes and you're straight out and working, rather than an hour and 20 minutes of driving. And then you've got to make that cost up. So if you've got a man in for 8 hours a day, and he's in a vehicle for 3 hours of it, then he's only making money for 4.5 hours if you take out his half an hour for lunch. So it's a matter of thinking, right, I'm travelling all that way, but I'm only actually getting half a day's work out of somebody. So obviously the guys love it because they're not having to work, but from a business point of view, it's not practical. So that's why I've reined everything in, and I'm quite happy to travel 20-30 minutes. But apart from that, unless it's extreme, or unless the job is really profitable and I can put that money on top of our daily earnings, then I won't be traveling. and like I say, having the 5 years worth of contracts ahead of me, I have the luxury that I can say that to customers, look, that's the price if you want me to travel, because we're only going to be working on site 5 hours a day, so I still need the same day rate for the overheads, take it or leave it. And not being disrespectful to those customers, but if they leave it, I won't be bothered, because it's a whole load of hassle travelling. So apart from that, I just wanted to finish off by wishing all my friends, old and new, met some really good guys this year at the trade shows, as well as the people I already knew. And like I say, it's good to speak to people and see how they do things, and see how different people operate, and same people I'm in contact with, how they operate on a daily basis, and how they run the business. It's good to get an insight into what other people do. So thank you for that, and I hope everybody has a happy Christmas and a new year. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm in a couple of days over Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, and that's mainly on a job in a school that we need to get finished before they come back. Apart from that, I will be having some well-earned time off to spend with my family, which starts today, and then like I say, there's a couple of days at work, but then a gap, so I think it's about 9 or 10 days I'll be off over Christmas. So looking forward to that, looking forward to spend some time at home, but also looking forward to hitting 2022 and getting stuck into these new jobs you've seen that I've picked up recently, and also getting on this new equipment, which is more important. Getting the new equipment out and seeing if it does what I think it will do, which is A, save us money, and B, improve productivity. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you all have an amazing Christmas and New Year, and we will still be producing videos, because I've got a backlog of videos that I've done, so I will still be dropping the videos in, usually on a Sunday, so keep an eye out for those. And if you're not already liking and subscribing, if you can please do so, and we will see you all again in the new year.